First dates can be quite nerve-wracking, especially when you get to that point where there's a lull in the conversation and there's this awkward silence because you've run out of things to say. But it does not have to be that way. First dates should be light and fun. And in this video, I'm going to give you some interesting questions that you can ask to make a first date epic. This is Naidoo, and I've been coaching clients for the last 20 years to find love and create epic relationships. So before we get to the kinds of questions you could ask, let's first talk about some of the questions you should stay away from. Fact questions like, so what do you do? Where are you from? How many siblings do you have? These are very common questions that people ask on dates, and it can become quite boring. Because today, most people go on multiple first dates before finding that one person that they want to get into a relationship with. So if they're hearing these kind of questions over and over again, it can be quite monotonous. And you want to be able to be that person that stands out in this dating world. So stay away from the fact questions because it doesn't actually tell you much about the person's personality or their values. These are the kinds of things we want to know more about. Also, when we ask general questions like, so tell me more about yourself. Now, if somebody's been on this planet for 30, 40, 50 years, how are they supposed to answer a question like that in a few minutes to a complete stranger, right? So stay away from questions that are too general. One of the worst questions for a first date is, why are you still single? Right? So you're going to get one of two things here. One is you're going to get a very superficial answer. That's not the whole story because this is a first date. This person does not know you or trust you well enough to be able to answer that question to the depth that it actually requires. Or on the other hand, you're going to get someone that is going to talk for the next 45 minutes about how horrible their ex was, all the bad things that they did that led to that breakup, right? And I'm sure that's not the kind of date you want to go on. So let's look at how we can keep the questions really interesting and engaging, because that's what you want. You want to be able to ask a question, receive an answer, and then also volunteer information. So it's not just one person firing away all the questions and the other person having to answer, which feels more like an interview. All right. So let's say, for example, somebody's talking about their work. A question you can ask is, what is the most interesting part of your job? Or is there something about your job that you'd love to change? What about a question like, what's your big passion in life? When you ask a question like this, you can see someone getting really excited about the things that are most meaningful to them. Is it their family? Is it freedom, like they want to go skydiving or they love to travel, they have that sense of adventure? Now you're getting to know what somebody is really passionate about in their lives. I would say it's a red flag if someone finds it really difficult to answer this question, because if they don't have any great passions in their life, they're most likely looking for someone to bring that excitement into their lives, right? So that the onus is going to be on you to make that life more interesting. Another great question is, if you could trade lives with someone for one day, who would that be and why? So now you're getting those deeper answers. They're going to reflect a bit and you're going to see what their dreams are. What are the things that they would really want, the kind of life they really want to live, right? And that will give you some insight into what the future with this person would look like should you get into a relationship. Next question. What is the best advice you've ever received? Again, I like this question because it it means that this is someone that is grateful for what they've received, advice they've received to someone. They'll tell you how that changed their lives. Which means that in future, if you've got something valuable, they will be open to receiving this kind of information. And again, I'd say it's a red flag if somebody can't come up with an answer to this one, because it means that they're quite closed off to advice coming from someone else. And we know that the narcissistic trend is they don't take advice from anybody else, right? So it could be a red flag. Another question: what is your most valuable possession? Again, it's telling you what they value in their lives. Instead of asking, do you cook? Ask a question like, what's the best meal you've ever prepared? And boiling eggs does not count, right? So you're still keeping it light and fun, but you're getting them to talk about the things that they love, that they're passionate about, that they're good at. And when you ask these kinds of questions, people would find you very attractive, because now they feel like they're being heard, they are being seen. It's creating this kind of bond between you. So when you ask a question, listen intently and move it from question answer to question and conversation. So from that question, as they answer, you're following up, you're getting more. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. Right? So that turns into a great conversation. Another question is, what makes you laugh uncontrollably? This could be a great one, because in the future you may want to lighten things up, and you know the kinds of things that would make them laugh. So lighten up the mood. Another question could be, what does a perfect day look like for you? And this could give you some insight into what future dates would look like with this person. So keep it light, keep it fun. Obviously, you're not going to ask all of these questions in one date. Do what's most natural for you, and use this as the start of your list. So when you see what kinds of questions that can be engaging, can be interesting, but also it's giving you insight into who the person really is. So start adding questions to that list that feels right and more natural to you. If you've got any value from this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so that you'll be notified every time there's a new video. Because I am really committed to creating 3 videos a week for you to help you create your most epic relationship. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.